So I just wanted to make a quick video about negotiation and what we do at Hortons to make sure our clients get the best possible price. I think negotiation is probably one of the most undervalued skills in a estate agency, but it can have the biggest impact on the result for the client. A good negotiator can add 2, 3, 4, 5% onto the value of a deal if they know the right way to approach it and they've got the kind of tools and strategies to hand to know how to deal with certain situations and make sure that you're getting a buyer digging deeper in the pockets. I think the problem with the estate agency industry as a whole when it comes to negotiation is it's often thought of, negotiating sales done by, in the traditional agency world, is done by sales negotiators, and that's often seen as like an entry-level job. You go in there, you valuers put houses on the market, and then you've got guys in the office that are trying to get the deals done. I think that negotiations, because it can have such a big impact on the end result for the client, should be done by really experienced agents, and new guys coming into the industry need to have the right coaching and have the right skill set in place before kind of being in that situation where they're negotiating on behalf of the client, just to make sure that you can be as sure as you possibly can that you're not leaving any money on the table for the client, and that's really what our main responsibility is. So, my thought process on negotiation is that it really starts when you have the first point of contact with a client. So it could be someone, when I say client, I'm talking about a buyer, the first time that they come into contact with you. It could be someone ringing up to book a viewing on a house. There's two ways that conversation could go. The way that we like to do it is, let's say a house has just gone on the market and you've got 2 or 3 different viewing slots available. Hi buyer, okay, we can arrange a viewing. We've got something on Friday at 5 o'clock, Saturday at 11, or Monday at 3. Is there any of those time slots that are suitable for you? So you're still being really helpful to the buyer, being accommodating, deal with the questions, nice and polite, but it sets the tone of the conversation that we're in control of this deal, this is the way that it's being organised. The alternative is that a buyer can push an agent around, and what do you think that buyer's going to do when they come into negotiations? They're going to feel like they're in a position of power, and they're going to do the best to bring the price down. So set that tone. An agent's got to be in control of the situation at all times. So the next thing that you've got to consider is, even down to the way that the property is being perceived online or when people are asking about price, etc. We often use things like price text, so offers in excess of, or kind of guide price, offers in the region of. It sets a adds a bit more context to the price. So if a buyer then goes and views the house and you think they're interested, there's 2 ways that you can try and open up a negotiation. And what most people do is say, do you want to make an offer? That's basically just saying, we need you, what do you think it's worth? You're in control, like you open things up. Now, if you've got a price text, then the conversation should more go down the lines of, and this is much better opening to a negotiation, do you want to buy the house? You're not asking them about price, you're just asking them whether they want it. As soon as they get the yes out of them, then you can refer back to the price text. Say, okay, house is offered in excess of 300,000. How much higher do you want to go? Now that's a much stronger kind of way to open up a negotiation than asking them to kind of give you a price and make an offer, because then you're already going to be starting at a much lower price point. Obviously, if the valuation is correct and the right advice has been given, then you're going to see a much better chance of the price going up rather than down. Whereas obviously if the price is wrong, or if they've got to the wrong expectations, then it's not going to stop people from making a lower offer, but it just reduces the chance of that happening. Again, because you've already set the tone of being in control of the deal, and when you come in and have this conversation, you're going to be in a much stronger position to be able to actually kind of set the scene and show the buyer the way that these negotiations are going to be carried out. So then the buyer will have their they'll make their opening bid. rule of thumb with negotiating on behalf of a client: don't accept the first offer. You can set some kind of expectations with the client, with the buyer, by saying, yeah, great starting point, I'll see what they say, and try and get an idea of how far away we are. Something along those lines, constantly giving the buyer the feeling that we're going up. Then, dependent on what the response is from the client, what their interest you've had, you've got to make a judgment on how many times you push back for an offer. As a rule of thumb, we find people make the best offer either on the second or third bid, but it takes a bit of experience, and every situation is different, to understand really how much more you can push someone and where their kind of walk away point is. It's always best to really push a buyer and make sure that you're at that very limit. It's always a lot easier to go backwards. If you push them too far, you can go back to a previous bid rather than potentially leaving some higher bid on the table, and you don't know, well, if you don't ask, you don't get, basically. So there is more to that, and handling certain situations and handling objections and stuff, but I just wanted to put that together of probably a different perspective on approaching a negotiation and just giving yourself the best possible chance of the price going up and getting a premium. I'll probably do some other videos on dealing with objections or looking at some of those other techniques and how to use them in certain situations, but I hope that's useful. But yeah, let me know if you've got any thoughts.